Oh shit. Here we go again.
What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another fun-filled episode of the Spectator Mode Podcast. I am your host, Mr. Frame Rates Matters, and if you don't remember that name, well, tough crap. I really don't care because that's the kind of mood I'm in, and that's the kind of podcast it is today. Anyway, I got my buddies here. We got Scott here in the middle, Carl on the right, and shall we jump right into the chaos, my good friends? No games that we played. We're jumping into the deep end of the pool, and if you can't swim, that's all right. I can't swim either, so we're good with that. All right. So we are going to combine a topic because a TV series came out the last couple of days. Like what was like 5 days ago? That being the fall TV series. Yeah. And holy crap, that was such an amazing TV series. I think Carl is the Fallout expert here. I definitely am not. You're not. Okay. So none of us are Fallout experts. Okay, we just know of the game. And
I've played New Vegas and 4.
I actually have a couple of the games in my Steam account, and I've never played them. And my son likes Fallout, and he was like, "Dad, you ever played these games?" No. Why do you have them?
Because once upon a time, Uncle Gaben used to do these things called Great Summer Sales, where games would be only a fraction of what they are now, and we would pick up a huge bundle for like $2.
And those humble bundles too.
Yeah,
and the humble bundles.
You could spend $60 and you'd have like 100 games during the summer sales.
Yep, exactly. You know,
I've never played it. Never played the series.
Bethesda bundle, $10 gets you everything that they've ever made.
Yeah,
I remember those days.
Those were the days. But yeah, so I've never played it. But after watching the TV show, I am very keen on playing at least Fallout 4. I think because that's the better of them all.
Surprisingly, that has been the major uptick. I believe like people who do like Steam monitoring and everything else have seen like I think like a 300% increase in people buying and playing Fallout 4 specifically since this game, since the show came into effect. And I'm one of them. My wife was like, "Oh, maybe I should play the game." So I had to spend most of the night trying to track down copies somehow. Thank God it's on Game Pass and it's not leaving anytime soon.
Did you say Game Pass, dear sir? Did you say Game Pass?
Game Pass.
Let's not talk about that.
Speaking about the deep end. No,
that's a bad thing. We're not talking about Game Pass. But seriously, even though none of us have played the game, we know of the series. We know of Fallout, and I know the material, the source material, and everything else. And this TV show was just so spot on. It was great. You had, the vault dwellers on the ground, not knowing what exactly is going on. We got the people up top, trying to bring back their own civilization. We've got the rogue factions, and we've got the Brotherhood and all that fun stuff. We've got the power suits. We've got the mutated bears. We've got dude in power suits screaming away, going fuck, 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 fuck.
Thank you, Death Claws.
That was hilarious.
Well, that was the only thing the show didn't have. Like we had a shot. There is a shot in the series of a Deathclaw skull, but we haven't actually seen our first Deathclaw in the series yet. And I'm sitting there waiting for that to happen because when that happens, it's gonna get fucked up.
Yeah, the next series, we're definitely going to see it because of that skull. Since we're just talking all out of place here, we saw New Vegas. The second I saw New Vegas, I was like,
you did the meme. You were like,
I know that reference.
My wife was like, "What's wrong with you?" Like, duh, 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 duh.
When that showed up in the show, I had to explain to Rachel the significance of New Vegas and what is sitting in the middle of New Vegas as well. It's like, oh, that's gonna be interesting.
There's man, I didn't expect this series to be as good as it was.
Nobody did.
Some people did, but I didn't have any faith. Video game adaptations have been either very good or very disastrous. But I want to say that at least we've been fortunate because the last couple ones have been great. We've had Sonic the Hedgehog, fantastic. We've had Twisted Metal, phenomenal, great stuff. We've got this now.
The Last of Us was actually really good.
This is
I have not watched it yet.
Arcane,
Arcane was
Edge Runner.
fantastic, but Arcane was animation now. So
Yeah,
I don't
Still
really count
adaptation,
that.
but okay.
Like I should have said live action adaptations.
Okay.
Those are usually the harder ones to do. So yeah, we've been eating good. Oh man, we just gotta have like a bunch of people and just do a Fallout podcast, just talk
Spoiler
about everything.
cast.
Yeah, I mean, we can't spoil it. It's out. It's literally out.
If we had the ability to, like some sort of Discord channel that people could join, we could probably do a watch along.
I mean, we've got this server that we can fit 15 people on. I mean, we could totally do that. But can you imagine 15 people at once? The logistics of that would be crazy. Everybody shut up.
Jeez.
But this part's coming up. But what about this? Oh, look, that's a reference to that. That's
Oh,
yeah. I mean, I will say that they did a phenomenal job with the power suit. I mean, I didn't expect it to be as done as well as it was. I was just
not bad for fabricated resin, is it? I actually saw on TikTok the people that made the power suits for the show, and it's all fabricated resin, just painted really, really well to replicate metal.
Really well. Holy crap! It was
great.
I'll
give everybody props from like the costumers, the set design people, the cinematographer, everybody. They pulled together an amazing show. Like
the actors as well.
I played some of the games. I haven't finished the Fallout game because it is a very long game.
Yeah.
But I played enough to understand a lot of the references, like the look of the vaults and everything like that. Like the vaults, they got down perfectly. Like those. But by the end of it, I'm like, can I go live in one of those little pods, man? Like,
pretty sure you don't want to do that.
Because with the way political's going over here, political's going worldwide at the moment, we might need some vaults.
We actually, my wife and my daughter actually sat down. We talked about that for a bit because it just raises so many eyebrows and so many things that you're like, wow, that's kind of mirroring what exactly is happening in real life and stuff.
That was one of the big things that I also was discussing with my wife was how like accurate this was to current day political events and what may be occurring and what we might need to look into and stuff like that. It's sad that we're looking at something that is basically replicating the Cold War era, but
let's just not have companies plan on dropping bombs on us. I do like how they changed that in the show, because in Fallout it was at least one of them. It was the Chinese who dropped the bombs first, but we now in this one, the companies, Valtech dropped the bomb. So
well, you got to remember that these days governments and companies are the biggest enemy, not foreign military powers.
Right. No, I get that 100%. I also want to give a big shout out to the actors. I mean, like the Lucy was fantastic. Hey, Rachel, Lucy was fantastic. She was like this Nayate person who had to learn the hard way that the world wasn't how she thought it was. Man, Maximus, he was great. Oh man,
the girl who played Lucy. You want to know why she was so good?
She was in Arcane.
She played the games.
Well, I mean, wow.
It's amazing. It's amazing to see that if you do your homework and actually learn the source material, you put in a better performance.
Shocked.
Man, I mean, yeah, it was there was not a single thing I did not like in that show. And I love the fact that Michael Rappaport had showed up, and I was like, wait, this guy hasn't done anything in forever. What is he doing in here?
But like, yeah. I will definitely say, like, the way that they were going pre-war, this is really pre-war or pre-bomb era or whatever they want to call it. Like, you get to see the events leading up to where the world went to shit, and then you get to see the world after 200 years after it went to shit. And the linking there, using Ghoul as the sort of medium device, the bridging device, is absolutely amazingly well done. Like, the storytelling on that is just perfect. He acts like when he's Ghoul, it's straightforward, no bullshit. He is, he is the badass that he's supposed to be. And then you go back to pre-bomb era, and it's like, oh, okay, he was around when this happened. He was the face of this. He was doing that. That's like, wow, okay, he's linked into a lot of what's going on in the story.
And that we talked about him as well, and then we talked about his wife, and it's just wow. Everything in his story, there is no loose ends. Everything is connected. Everything is connected. Yeah, that's how good the story is. There's nothing to like who is she or where did he come from? Like even towards the end, when you found I don't want to the Vault 31, and you saw all the people asleep, and it was like, wow, who are these people? Oh, there's these people. That's why they told the one lady to come back, because she was compromised. And it's like, oh, they're gonna put her back.
They explain everything to a point. There are still some things left undone by, obviously, they throw a cliffhanger in at the final episode. But for the majority of the information that you need to get into the world, to understand the world, they tell you straight up, this is what you need to know.
Yep.
Which is why, like, there are people who have never played Fallout before watching this show and going, okay, now I'm interested in the games.
Mm-hmm. Well, they didn't tell us they didn't tell us why the Ghoul's guns were so damn powerful. Holy crap!
Oh, that's just a reference to the games. Like, there's different bullet types that you can get. And,
he was wrecking everybody. Like, nobody can mess. I'm in a power suit, man, and it's cool though, because he was like, don't they like what happened to basic training? And then you come to find later on that he actually was in the war. He knows about these suits.
Yeah, he's like, oh, back then they had this one sentimental flaw. I wonder if it still works. And he just like, yep, still works.
It was so
Some
good.
things never change.
And of course, for those of you who haven't seen it yet and are wondering, yes, dog meat is in it. Dog meat is still good as boy of all.
Yeah.
You gotta have dog meat in there.
Yeah,
you can't not have dog meat.
I don't want to sit here and talk about this, because we'll be on here all day. We literally will. The end all be all is this: even if you don't know anything about Fallout and you want something good to watch on TV or on Amazon, go watch this. This is good enough content that if you don't even have Amazon Prime Video, go sign up for it. You want to watch this. This is a great show.
Yep.
It needs to be watched.
5 stars, highly recommend.
Yes. There was a debate, disclosure, led by, was it the creator of Scott Pilgrim Takes Off originally? That was
originally that was copy pasted by one idiot, IGN.
Well, no, but it was Ben. It was Ben who, I think his name is Ben. I could be incorrect. He was the one who was complaining, saying that, hey, they shouldn't have released this all at once. It's not good, blah, 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 blah. Because I originally replied back there, I think it was Screen Rant, somebody who posted that. And I literally basically said, that's dumb. Doesn't make any sense. These are different times. When stuff was episodic before, it's because they were working on the next episode, so they waited a while to put the next one out. It doesn't make any difference. It doesn't change the plot. It doesn't change nothing. It doesn't add more characters, nothing. So there's no difference between releasing it all at once or releasing it in episodes. In fact, I said it would be probably not in their favor to release it in episodes, because there are people who won't watch shows until all the episodes are out.
Yep, I'm one of them. I've gone from being somebody who watched weekly episodic television. I grew up in the 80s and the 90s where you had no choice but to, make sure that you were up at a certain time to catch your favorite program, or else you had to wait a week or, anywhere up to a year before you'd see that one particular episode again.
Oh my god!
The amount of
you had
times we have to go back to Raditz and Dragon Ball Z.
Or back in the god, the amount of times I saw the Saiyan saga. Oh my god!
I just want to see what happens once Goku gets out of the chamber.
No, I want to see him take on Cell, and then next time on Dragon Ball Z, back to the Saiyan saga again.
This is a quick anime reference, but for those who know, and Scott, you may know as well, Carl. You watch some Gundam. Gundam Unicorn, when it first released in 2010. The final episode didn't get released till 2014. It was 7 episodes. We had to wait 4 years for it to finish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll just wait. I mean, there was no we couldn't do anything about it. It was literally, they were still
hello, have you not watched Invincible on Amazon?
Oh my god!
I was released in 4 episodes blocks over the span of like the last 3 years. 16 episodes take 3 years. Like, I'm sorry, it's like the weekly. For going back even further for me and Keith more than likely. Getting up on Saturday mornings to watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and if you missed that one episode, man, you wouldn't see it pop up again until it went into the syndication or something.
Yeah, it
could be years before you see it again.
This is before we had these networks and these
we used to have these machines called video recorders, and that was if you weren't able to see your TV show in that weekly time slot, you made sure that you fiddled around to make sure you got that recording going, or else you were not going to see anything.
And make sure nobody recorded over your episode that you recorded.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
I don't
miss
you were
hours in before you could put it in. Just
I don't miss those days. I don't miss them whatsoever. But getting back to it, it's just I don't want to say funny. I'd say it's more of a pain than anything. Just because so many people are going, yeah, it's a good thing. Oh, no, it's a good thing. Or, yeah, I agree. And it's like, dude, what? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't work either way. Right. But don't go and say it makes it better if you release an episode, because it doesn't change anything.
No, that's just because these days they're recording everything straight up front. Everything is, the whole season is recorded once. That's how they've always done it. And then it used to be that they would release it weekly because we used to have things called ratings. Network ratings to determine on how much advertising that a network got and how much advertising spots that they would be able to sell.
Yep.
Since the invention of streaming, it is irrelevant.
Yeah, it's
one of those. It's just one of those things these days that, like, a lot of the old ways are outdated. A lot of people nowadays will rather binge their content in one straight shot than to sit there and wait weekly. Like, even places that still do it are like anybody who watches anime will understand trying to sit there weekly watching like a 24 episode series. It by the time you get about halfway through, you're ready to drop the show because you're bored shitless.
I'll be honest with you. I do find that binging content when I watch it with my wife actually helps with the relationship for those who are married or who are in a relationship, because you're sitting down with your significant other and you're watching TV and you're talking and you're having fun and you're enjoying stuff. Or what happened there? I missed it. Okay, rewind it back. Oh, what does this mean? What's going on? It's great. It's so much fun.
Going back to Fallout, Rachel and I binged it over 3 days. We started out going, oh, we'll just do 2 episodes a night, and then we got to those final 4 episodes, and it was like, okay, we've done 2. It's still early enough where it's not time to go to bed yet. So,
and then you realize,
we'll put another one on, and then it's like we've only got 1 more left. What's and another hour of sleep?
They go by so fast. And you're like, wait, that was an hour? Like, yeah. That's how great it was. It just sucks you in. You were like, wow, it's Now on the wait,
and it's like I've got that many anime season like shows sitting in like a little backup area where I'm waiting for the time where I'm just going to sit here and watch them with Rachel because she's interested in the plots and the stories. But the thing is, if we're going to watch it, we're going to binge it over a couple of nights. Yeah, we're not going to sit there and wait each week. Like the biggest. the biggest pain for the two of us with stuff that we watch together is the show 911, which comes out weekly.
Yeah,
and they always leave it on such a cliffhanger or a sort of one of those notes that just sort of grabs you, and then it's like, yeah, we're not getting this till next week. And it's like, oh great, now we're gonna wait a week before we find out what happens. Or they'll do like they've done with this particular season, episode 5. They finished it on a cliffhanger, and we don't get the next episode until the May 2nd.
No, let me ask you this.
So another 2 to 3 weeks before we get to see the conclusion of that, and we're just like, this is a fucking show.
Now that, does it kind of put you off on the show, or can you wait to see the next episode, or you're like, you know what, I'll see it when I see it?
With 911, it's that I want to know now because I'm invested in the storyline, and then sometimes it's like when they do a gap. This is what I hate about people. Shows that go mid-season breaks, especially, is that I'll forget about the storyline, and then when I go to watch the next episode, I'm like, oh, what the hell happened? I can't remember. And I have to go to like Wikipedia or something to look up what happened and remind myself of what's going on. Because like sometimes the gaps are too big. But then again, there's also stuff that works for weekly. As much as I hate to admit it, X-Men 97.
No, that's not working.
Keith disagrees.
I think that's working greatly in its favor.
I wanted.
I don't know. After last week's episode, I was like, I want to know now.
Especially if you're known as the theory crafter.
Especially because
great if you're a theory crafter.
Especially because that particular episode is not going to filter in until the fucking finale. And this week's episode is a continuation of something that happened 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
Exactly.
So now I'm gonna go back and look at stuff from 2 weeks ago. This week.
Also, people that are watching or listening to this podcast and you're theory crafting like we are speculating, they already said it's not going to be Cassandra Nova. So stop.
In case you're crafting that theory.
But there was another character who we seen in there who they left a lot of Easter eggs for, that if you read the comics, you know who he is.
Deadpool!
Bastion, and not the guy from Overwatch.
It's not Mephisto for the 100th time.
No. No. This is Spider-Man. My God, no. We are not doing brand new fucking day.
Actually, you know who it is? It's Franklin Richards. He's controlling the entire universe. He's making everybody's lives miserable.
Don't get me started on that. I have my own troubles with the new Silver Surfer movie that's coming up.
So yeah,
not gonna get into that here, but
I don't have a problem with things being released episodic, but I also don't have a problem with things being dumped out at once. Don't tell people which is better, and don't put out nonsense if you can't back it up with factual content. Don't say it's better this way and say why, because it is. Okay, where's your proof? And especially
the term "because I like it that way" is not.
That's great.
No.
That's great, but it doesn't change the show. Again, no extra characters, doesn't add any new content, doesn't change the plot, doesn't do anything. If that's the way you like to watch it, then fantastic.
People have to realize is it's all about the preference. There are going to be people who love having the weekly digest, and there's people who are going to hate that because they want to have the whole thing on them right then and there.
And that's fine, but don't force your opinion on other people because that's garbage.
And that's the thing. If you have everything dropped on you all at once, there's this little thing that people don't like to practice these days called self-control. And you can sit there and you can have all 8 episodes sitting there right in front of you, and you only watch one per week. You have that ability to do that.
Everybody's not
nobody is telling you that because it's been dropped all at once, you have to watch it all at once. But those who wish to sit there and watch it all at once because they get invested and they buy into the hype and everything else, then they're going to do that, and that's their choice.
Only one episode of Third Body Problem once a week. Only one.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like, personal choice seems to be this big thing that nobody remembers that we have.
Agency
Personal
free will,
choice.
what is this?
Yeah, I know. You must go along with what is mob mentality.
Become the sheep.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get out of here. Let's gush about something else. Let's gush about X-Men. He's leaving. Oh, he's back.
He said let's go. He said let's go.
Oh, X-Men 97. So I didn't notice before I started the show, but I did notice that there actually is a trailer for tomorrow, and I didn't watch it yet. Did you happen to watch it?
I don't watch. I told you before. I do not watch the trailers. I do not like having anything from the episode spoiled beforehand. So I do not watch any of these clips that they put out because what are we at? We're at 9:30 a.m. now. So give me about another 10 hours and I'll be able to watch the episode.
Yeah, it doesn't come out for us until what time does it come out? Actually, X-Men 97.
It would be 5 a.m.
So when I get up to go to work tomorrow, it'll be out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Streaming at 3 a.m. I'm
probably will watch it at lunch.
Now, if it was Wednesday and it came out on Thursday, then I would stay up because I'm not working Thursday, but it's not, so I can't.
That's the good thing about being in Australia. We get it in the PM hours.
So X-Men 97, as people who may not know what it is, if you don't, I don't know what's wrong with you, it's a continuation of X-Men from way back in the 80s?
1992.
80s, and left off when certain Charles Xavier...
End of season 5.
Yeah, he disappeared.
Yep.
Went away.
Well, depends on which version you want to go with. If you go with what they did in 1992 with the episode Graduation Day, which was the final episode of season 5, Charles got attacked. He was almost in like a coma more than anything. Then we had someone from the Shi'ar came and grabbed him and said, "Look, we can take him back to our home planet where we have the facilities to save him and keep him alive."
Lalandra.
Yeah. She took Charles back to the Shi'ar homeworld where they have the technology to keep him alive and keep him stable. But if you go with what the start of X-Men 97 said, Charles died in that.
Right.
But then again, the idea of the Shi'ar coming and getting him and taking him back might not have been common knowledge to like news reporters or something along those lines.
Yeah.
So really?
They're possibly going with the idea that he's dead.
You mean the people who don't read the comics and watch the shows?
Well, not just that. I just mean the people who aren't mutants in the world don't know what Shi'ar is.
Yeah, because you got to remember that the coverage for the attack back in the show was done by the human news channels.
Yep.
So they might not. They don't have a camera on the Xavier School for Gifted Children at all times.
Nope.
So they might not have seen the fact that he got taken away from the mansion. They just treated it like he's dead.
He's no longer there.
So you know, it's pretty much the Fox News of the mutant worlds where they don't know everything.
Just make up theories.
All right,
yeah, so pretty much. But
let's do a running recount here. Let's summarize it. Get from that to now. So.
Okay, so holy shit, holy fuck, shit, fuck, holy crap.
No, we're not running from...
Not
the emotional things, but yes.
We're not running from bears. All right, so we got episode 1.
I'm still sending Marvel my therapy bill after episode 5. Okay?
Let's go. Episode 1, we get reduced to the X-Men, end of the episode, Magneto's like, "Oh, hey, by the way, I own you now."
Apparently in the will, Xavier says, "You're mine."
Yes, Xavier says, "I now own the school. I now run the X-Men, and you guys can't say shit because it was in his will." Nanny Scott. Nanny.
How'd you know where his will was? I read his diary. Fair point.
And then we get more of the mutant liberation in episode 2. Which
that was a really well done episode. Took me back to like Beast when he was incarcerated and waiting for his day in court. Yep. That was a phenomenal episode.
Excuse me. Let's see here. What else we got here? We got the Executioner. We got the unfortunate changes to one of my favorite X-Men getting depowered.
Yep.
That being a Storm.
Mhm.
We got Magneto showing that he can really hurt somebody if he wanted to, but he's trying to be the good guy, which is reflection of him in the comics. But the comics is a lot more dynamic because he was like, I'm a bad guy, then I'm a good guy, then I'm like, no, what, I'm gonna be a bad guy again. No, then I'm gonna be a good guy again. Now he's like, I'm just gonna be an anti-hero. I do what I want to do.
He's trying to live up to Charles' memory, but at the same time, he's still himself.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but he's so badass he can even live for a while without
Yeah.
a heart. So I mean, Magneto, ladies and gentlemen. We got episode 3, which was Fire Made Flesh, and we find out that Mr. Sinister is involved.
Mr. Sinister's here.
Clones, and clones.
Yes.
Yeah, and they're rolling things pretty fast if you have not paid attention. So we got clones, and more clones. We find out that go ahead.
That particular episode, I love that it was sort of like a Halloween themed episode. Like it was done in the style of a horror movie.
Mhm.
Whoever made that choice, congratulations to you. You wrote a great episode.
I like the way. Okay, so let me go back. So they introduced Madeline Pryor as Jean. Found out that Mr. Sinister swapped the two. Now we got the birth of Nathan Gray, who will end up being Cable, not the other one, because I don't think they're going to bring in Jesus. Nathan Gray.
No, but there's another character that they technically could bring in just by the experiments that Sinister started doing to Nathan. They could bring in Strife.
Yeah.
Oh no! Does anybody remember Strife? I mean,
hello.
Other than you, seriously, I don't know about that. He was like, "This is the evil Cable." I'm like, okay. And then, so we got that at the end of the episode. Madeline goes, "I'm Madeline Pryor. Goodbye." But I like the fact that they didn't make her go, "You know what? I'm just this evil, psychotic Jean Grey." And just like, you know what? I'm going to do my own thing. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Which is great. I love that. Even though that's not what happens in the comic. But
No, it's one of those things where they adapted an arc differently in this, but they also kind of speed run it. But at the same time, they speed run it in a way that feels satisfying.
Yeah.
But do you really want them to adapt Inferno word for word over?
No,
which
absolutely
was over 12
not.
fucking books.
Absolutely not.
No, we're good. We're good.
Honestly, I think the way that they adapted is a lot more nuanced than some of the ways the comics do it.
Cliff Notes version.
Yeah.
Then we got episode 4, Motendo, which I really loved. Motendo and Life and Death, part 1. I love this one because because Jubilee becomes 18 and Magneto's like, "You're not going to the arcade. Go to your room." And she's pounding.
We don't go to arcades here.
And then you turn around and she turns it on and you see this game system on her account, which looks like a Sega Genesis, and the X-Men cartridge looks like the X-Men cartridge from the Sega Genesis. And I was like,
yep.
I had that game.
Gotta restart the game to finish. What?
Yeah.
Whoever thought that up was a madman. That's crazy. So that we get to see another character. I thought we were going to see Arcade, but we didn't.
That's what I thought too.
Right?
Like I still reckon that was a mistake in the villain. Like you had Arcade there, though a friend did point out to me that Arcade doesn't sort of really work within the whole idea of entertainment mediums. He just builds fun houses that look like video games, which is a completely different concept to trying to put a character into a video game, which is a very Mojo thing to do.
So this episode actually took.
And no, we're not talking Powerpuff Girls, Mojo Jojo.
That's what I love that. I love that character, by the way, because Mojo.
I love the character too, but at the same time, wrong guy.
So Jubilee and Sunspot, I was going to call him Roberto, got taken to Genosha, which is the same version of Genosha from X-Men season 1. Remember when it was Jubilee Storm?
They like early building of Genosha was part of the video game. I'm like, hold on, no, they didn't. I'm like, they didn't go to Genosha. They're not in episode 5
because that's when they were running from the soldiers that were shooting at them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and then they realized, hey, we're in a video game, and then things change, and we get to see older badass Jubilee, which is pretty cool. and we get to see what Jubilee can do later on, which I really like, because everybody's always like, all she does is shoot fireworks out of her hands. I'm like, no, that's
eventually
that's about the same as people saying only thing Gambit can do is throw cards.
So that was a good episode. I love the art. I love that they made most of it like stylized, like during the arcade machine. Again, the X-Men arcade cabinet made an appearance in there as well.
Yes,
it was really a cool episode.
The styling of the title screen was like the X-Men arcade game. They used sprites that looked like came straight out of like X-Men versus X-Men versus Street Fighter. There was a lot of references in that.
And
the first half of that episode, that Motendo part of that episode, is actually my lowest point of the series so far.
Really?
It just felt very out of place. It just felt very out of place coming out of nowhere. But then they saved the episode with
Life and Death
Part 1.
Yep.
Life and Death Part 1.
So this is where Storm meets Forge. Forge, which is an amazing mutant, like one of the best mutants they've ever made, and it's just or created. It's like this guy can, he can make pretty much any damn thing. He's up there. He's amazing.
He's the Donatello of the group. He is the man who does machines.
Yes,
and he just read the comics and see some of the stuff that Forge has done, guys. He's done amazing.
Read Life and Death, a very well written book. Very well written book.
So he reaches out to he catches up with Storm, saying, "Hey, I want to help you get your powers back." And then she goes, "Okay," and then episode is over. Then we get episode 5.
We find out that what caused her powers to be lost, it was one of his inventions. So he is
he feels a little guilty.
He's trying to redeem himself.
I like the hint of he didn't do it, but it was a scientist in Scotland.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
you saying that the McTaggarts are involved? The other McTaggarts, not Moira. There are other McTaggarts that are in the stories. People need to read comics.
And don't forget that Moira is actually a mutant.
Yeah. So's a brother.
Go read the comics, guys. There's a lot of stuff in there. So that was interesting. And then we get Adversary, who we're gonna find about tomorrow. Which is
so we're gonna find
all right. Let's go. We're gonna talk about the
X-Men.
Let's talk about the Gut Punch, episode 5.
Episode 5.
I saw people on Twitter talking about before I watched this, saying, "Man, this episode really messed me up." And I was like, "What are you talking about?"
Mm-hmm.
So I finally watched it. And I was like, "Oh, this is great." First of all, I saw the animation. Animation was amazing.
Yeah,
the animation has been
steadily getting better.
Steadily getting better over time. Like the first 2 episodes they were trying too much to emulate the original 92 series too much and just update that graphical style for modern screens and modern view, like having it in widescreen and everything else. That animation was done using the limitations of CRT televisions. It's like going and playing Super Mario World on a Super Nintendo on a 60-inch friggin' HD TV. It doesn't look the same as it would if you're playing it on an old school CRT.
Mm-hmm.
So that they have been addressing that as time goes on, and the animation gets better and better and better, especially with key episodes.
So before we do that, I have to say I talked to my friend I haven't talked to in a while. Childhood
you
friend.
have friends?
No, I know, right? It's just kind of hard to believe that. But I was talking to him, and we were just talking. It was just funny that I was like, Gambit's probably the most useless character in this entire season so far. And then watching it, I was like, well. Well, so it starts off with Gambit, Rogue, and Magneto going to Genosha, which is a complete revamp. They're part of the UN Nation now, or United Nations now.
Well, the other part of why Gambit's there is because they're playing the Magneto and Rogue relationship storyline.
Yep.
That they did in the books as well.
He's very childish. I love what he was saying, though. sometimes
I don't know that one scene that we got coming up later where Rogue basically explains the situation to Gambit and he's just sitting there throwing cards into the fire. I'm just like,
yeah,
cinema
for a second.
fucking
Yes.
cinema.
good stuff. It was good stuff. And then, the gut punch. Well, we saw.
Well, no, hold on. Let's do
What?
the lead into the gut punch first.
You go for it. You got it.
You go to Genosha. You get to see Genosha for its full setup and majesty. Absolutely beautiful shots. Mutants everywhere. Just
Lots
using
of-
their
Yeah, we get to see a lot of
powers.
cameo from different mutants. which
Oh,
are
plenty
great.
of cameos. I saw Blink a couple of times. I saw Pixie.
Yep.
Leech, a few others that have also been in previous episodes that showed up there. Multiple Man in the dance scene.
Oh, I love
Yes.
Multiple Man.
was great. All of a sudden, Dazzler rocking up out of nowhere. It's like,
Who
hey,
was
where
the
you
other
been?
mu-
Where
who
you
was the
been,
other-
girl?
Well,
And
wait,
yet she does nothing.
wait. Dazzler was when it was on stage.
No, Dazzler rocks up next to Rogue.
No, but so who was
She's
the one on
standing in the
stage?
crowd.
So who was the one on the stage? I thought that was Dazzler because Dazzler had the dirty blonde hair at the time. So who was that on the stage? I thought that was Dazzler.
No, it wasn't. It was somebody else. Oh, that might have been Boom Boom.
Oh, you know what? That was Boom Boom who walked up to her.
Oh, I've got that. Okay,
Who had the yellow hair? I was
Ah,
like, that's not her.
There's too many females with explosion powers in this thing.
Whatever
But,
happened
like-
to you? Boom
But like
Boom?
it's great to see Genosha like fully done, fully fleshed out in the way it was originally meant to be, which was this mutant utopia, much better than living in a fucking tree.
I've been living in a tree for much longer.
I don't know. I stopped reading the books when they turned that shit. But like they get reunited with Nightcrawler as well,
Oh, I love
which
that.
is good.
Fun moments with Nightcrawler.
And lots of good moments. Nightcrawler has a bit of a word with Gambit saying, why aren't you going after Rogue? It's obvious you bloody love her. So, and he's like, well, some things are not meant to be, man. It's like, yeah, beignets and everything else. Good for you. But then they have what is the equivalent of the Hellfire Gala, or at least in look and feel and everything, to celebrate Genosha being brought into the UN. There's a bit of a subplot in the background where they ask Magneto to be the king or the ruler or the chancellor or something along those lines. They don't exactly call him a king, but they said that the only way that he would get the spot would be is if he had one of the X-Men with him, specifically Rogue. And so he puts it to Rogue, hey, this is the situation. If we get married, then this is what will happen for Genosha and whatever else. She denies it, says no, thanks, but no thanks, tells Gambit what's going on. And then it's like, welcome to hell.
Isn't that what Magneto said in the X-Men arcade?
Welcome to die.
Oh, yeah. When we see the walk, oh boy.
But the funniest thing is, and I don't know how many people caught it. Some fireworks going in the background after the scene with Gambit and Rogue. And if you look closely, a certain bald-headed mofo that we've seen in other series
is like, holy shit. I was like,
that's when you know something's about to go down.
The Watcher shows up in silhouette in the background, and holy crap, something is about to go kaboom. Feel free to take over from here, Keith.
Well, that's when we get to see Cable again.
Well, this is where I'm going to do a little bit of education.
Well, you do. You see Cable for one brief moment. So
yeah, we have a touching mother and son reunion. Cable's like, turn the music off. And everybody's like, everybody's like, turn the music off. What?
And we do see, like in that ballroom scene, a few scenes. We get to see characters such as Sebastian Shaw, the Black King.
Yes.
We get to see Emma Frost for the first time in a while. We get, obviously we find out that Madeline Pryor has been put into a political position in Genosha, and a few other good characters as well pop up in there. Like the cameos in this episode are absolutely brilliant.
Yes.
So it's a shame that most of them end up being kind of fodder.
Yeah. So we get why the Watcher's here. We get a massive Sentinel that attacks the scene, and this is where I'm going to a little bit of education, folks. Not for you because you know what you're talking about, but I've seen so many go from Master Mode to Try Sentinel, and I'm like, guys, that is neither. That is a Wild Sentinel. Please get your Sentinels correct. You're incorrect. Wild Sentinels have 3 heads, have a massive hole in their chest, have wings on their back, 4 legs, like tripod legs, and they wreck everything because they're stupid. But they also take advantage of every piece of machinery, technology around them to incorporate themselves to become bigger and even more stronger. Tri Sentinels have 3 heads, but 6 arms. That's not a Tri Sentinel. You got it wrong. And Master Mode's nothing compared to this. So,
we already had a Master Mode go kaboom in episode 3.
Was it 3?
I think it was 3.
1. First episode.
Oh. No. They took down Sentinels in episode 1. I think in episode 3 they actually took on a Master Mode.
I thought it was the first one.
Okay, they took on one
They destroyed it really quick. Really quick.
Yeah, like it was literally nothing.
So we get the Wild Sentinel, and people don't understand how massively large and strong these guys are. Like they are literally multiple aircraft carriers with dangerous energy weapons that are hell bent on one thing. They're not here to capture mutants; they're here to kill mutants. That's it. We're just here to kill you. If you're not a mutant, you're fine. But if you are a mutant, we're going to kill you, and that's the end of that. And
think a kaiju-sized cockroach robot.
Yeah, it wrecked everything. Now, keep in mind, folks, if you read the comics and you read
E for Extinction,
4 of these attacked Genosha.
Mm-hmm. And this was just one.
Killed 16 million mutants on Genosha in the comics. This was just one.
You notice they didn't mention that in the show either. Like Cyclops is literally screaming at Beast how many, and Beast is just like not saying a word. They don't even say the actual number.
So it goes to town, destroys everybody, kicks everybody's butt. Literally, Magneto got his butt stomped. Everybody got their butt stomped. Didn't make a difference where you were. And there were some very powerful mutants on that island. They all got stomped. All.
Had a literal beam that would basically be able to see if you're an Omega level mutant and just destroy you.
And I like that part right there because it was, it didn't say it first. And then when Magneto started getting pissed off, it was like, Omega mutant. And then it was like, oh shit. We know who that is.
Goodbye.
And then he was the sole target. Like, all right, goodbye, Magneto.
Well, you got to remember this is still running off 92 logic. Back in 92, there were only like a handful of Omega levels.
Yeah,
like a Storm, Magneto, Charles, and
Iceman.
Jean.
And Iceman.
Iceman was not considered an Omega level mutant in 92.
Oh yeah. I think
it was mostly psychics and those that could manipulate Earth forces.
Reality, yeah.
So yeah,
but yeah,
a handful of Omega levels back then.
Yeah, that Wild Sentinel destroyed everything. It was a disaster.
It turned Magneto into a microwave.
Yeah,
because he sacrificed himself to save a bunch of Morlocks, which didn't.
And I don't want to get back to that. I want to get back to that. But yeah, basically he got wrecked. Rogue got wrecked. Gambit got wrecked, but he got back up and he was like, you know what? I'm just going to do this one last ditch effort and I'm going to touch it and supercharge it and blow it up. Which is like,
dude threw a kinetic charged train at the damn thing. That was badass.
Magneto whipped him with a train, and he was like, whatever, Mags. Yeah, it was so amazing because again, I saw it and I immediately went and wrote an article that you got mad at me about. I was like, yo, that's a Wild Sentinel. Come on. First time we've ever seen it animated anywhere. And I was like, wow, that is just amazing. So, end of the day, Gambit took it down, but sacrificed himself. It was very touching. And, because Rogue picked him up, his dead body, and basically saying she couldn't film anymore. And I was like, well, shoot. That's not
that again, that shot, that final shot was pure like cinematic mastery. Like,
and we're not going to see that. We're not going to see what happens to it for another week.
Like, well, till tonight anyway. But
no, tonight's all Storm.
True, yeah. But like that final shot, like the pan down into the crater, you've got Rogue cradling Gambit in her arms, and she's just like, sugar, like, just she's trying to wake him up, and then it cuts to black, and then she says, "I can't feel you." I'm just like, holy crap!
Sad.
The emotional, like, playing this like friggin' emotional puppets, man. Like, the writing in this series has just gone from strength to strength to strength. And that was something that I wasn't expecting when I first heard of this project. I thought that they were gonna modern audience it into oblivion, and no, they haven't done that. Like, the whole reported, Morph is like bisexual or something like that, and he's into Wolverine.
And Rogue doesn't have her ass anymore.
Rogue doesn't have her ass.
I was like, really? You're complaining about that?
Well, to be honest, back in our day, man, that ass was an awakening for many boys back in the day.
So I do want to,
but the thing is, like, for all the controversies people were saying about it in production, with Morph and Rogue, and like, they're gonna put LGBTQI plus characters into the show. It has been a big nothing on that front. Like, they touched on Morph's attraction to Wolverine in the Madeline Pryor episode because they were playing on what's going on in their heads. And that particular scene for Morph, sure, it confirmed what they were saying they wanted to do with him, but it was done in a subtle way, and then all of a sudden they flipped it. Like, they turned his wants and desires into a nightmare. And again, that's what I mean by amazing writing. Using somebody's psychological wants to create a nightmare is brilliant writing. You had a couple of female mutants on Genosha cuddling and kissing and holding hands and stuff like that during the scenes. Cool. Okay. They have lesbians in Genosha, and mutants can be lesbians. Cool. No problems with it.
I don't see why
it wasn't something that was like, oh my God, we are going to pound this into your head. It was just, they are a part of the world, and that's it. They're just integrated into the world, as the sort of writing for these types of characters should be.
You mean just like in the actual world?
Once, how it should be in the actual world, but fucking Hollywood these days. But again, X-Men still, like, so many years later, still one of the best, like, shows or reasoning for how we should be looking about accepting each other rather than being separate groups constantly clashing heads and going, my ideology is better than your ideology.
Yep.
Like, that's the example that X-Men's always been about. It's always been about true inclusion and equality for all, no matter what your differences in your world is. They expressed it for many years in comic books. Over the last few years, probably not as much. Because the writers these days love to put their own fucking fan fiction in the bullshit.
I mean, they still are. I mean, even though they're in that giant tree house thing, they're still trying to find inclusion. Get the hell out of my country, blah blah blah.
Well, but the thing is that they're going for inclusion by excluding themselves from the world. That's not what X-Men has ever been about. I'm sorry, but when they started doing that writing where they got was it Krakoa, they got their own night. All the mutants put on one island. I'm sorry, that's exclusion. And then they're still going, hey, we want to be included? No, that you can't get inclusion by exclusion.
But you can't tell people to leave the hell alone.
You want isolation from the idiots.
Yes.
There's a difference. There's a big difference. There's a difference between exclusion and isolation. But anyway, the writing for this show still is what should be an industry leader in how to tell stories. And how to adapt different stories in new ways for a new audience. Like, just continuing on straight from, hey, season 5, episode, whatever, I think it was episode 12 was the final episode, Graduation Day. That's happened. We're picking it up the next day.
Yep.
And just continuing on with the same style, storytelling, and everything else that made this show great. Not, we're going to reboot it and turn it into crap. which has happened so many different shows these days. And even the fact that they got they tried to get as many people as possible back for this show.
Yes.
Who didn't come back?
A lot.
They sound.
If you actually read my reviews on the Outhaven.net, Keith, you'll find out, because I actually tell you exactly who is coming in to replace and who is returning.
You know, I don't read your story bits on purpose.
Spoilers.
That's spoilers, man.
Yeah.
You don't even read the character summaries?
No, that's spoilers, dude.
Looks at the intro, looks at the score. Great.
Yeah, pretty much. Might as well just put it that way. Jesus.
No, that's not being disrespectful.
Last time I do anything for you, man.
You know how I do my review? I try
more.
not to spoil anything for you. I want you to figure all this out for yourself.
Yeah, I know, but that's why I have the thing where you have to click to read the spoiler warnings.
Exactly.
Unlike other places that just put the spoilers in the article.
Or even better, the headline.
With X-Men 97, the characters. Now I'm gonna try and do this off the top of my head. Storm came back.
Yeah.
Rogue came back. Beast, Wolverine. I'm missing one more. I think there was only 5 of the original for the main cast came back. Then you had a couple of cameos show up. The older Jubilee is actually the original voice actress for Jubilee.
It sounded very similar, yeah.
And the voice actor for Nightcrawler is the same voice actor. But outside of that, like, there's only a small portion of the cast. Like, most of the guys and girls that did these characters back in '92, they're like in their 60s and 70s now. A lot of them have actually retired from voice.
Peter Cullen is still around.
Prime is still kicking. So that's because he gets a paycheck every time somebody says Optimus Prime. Well, even then, they're starting to move away from using him as Prime as well.
Yeah, don't get me started on this new Transformers. Don't.
Supposedly, it's not as bad. It's not as bad as you think. Give it a chance, Keith. Give it a chance. Most of them have either retired from voice acting, live somewhere where they can't do the recordings, because the recordings, I believe, were done out of like Disney Studios, and a lot of these people are in Canada.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, there's quite a few of them that have left this mortal coil.
Yeah.
Like Cyclops, the original Cyclops passed away. And like there's a few others that have passed. The original voice actor for Gambit.
Very, very likely.
Well, that's been a big thing for me, is a lot of the characters, like even bit part characters like Emma Frost. She's been in the 92 series.
Yep.
I went back, I listened to the voice lines that she had in like one episode and compared it to the modern one. I'm like, damn, almost dead on. Spiral had one line in an episode in 92. She has about 3 lines in this one. But the voice actress, different, but better. But for the main cast, like for Magneto, for Cyclops and Jubilee and all that, man, the people who've come in to do the replacement voices, they are so close to the original.
Yeah, they did a really good job.
Like, it's amazing how good of a job they've done.
Yeah, well, some of these voice actors I'm looking at are phenomenal, so I can see why. Like Jennifer Hale as Jean.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Fantastic.
Absolutely.
Isaac Robinson as Bishop.
Yep.
I was watching the original X-Men episodes or series a couple days ago downstairs. I was looking at the animation and I was like, wow.
Wow. It doesn't quite hold up, but now you know why. Like now you know why when you have a look at like episode 1 of X-Men 97 and they try to emulate that old style, why it does not look that great on
they
screen.
Should. I'm glad they didn't decide to keep trying to replicate the style like they did the first 2 episodes, because as soon as episode 3 hits and we see a lot of the animation changes, that's when things start getting really good with how it looks.
Yeah. Anyway, so
yes, so to wrap that up, X-Men 97, we all love it. You should be watching it. If you aren't watching it, why aren't you watching it? Or at least are you waiting until it's finished so you can binge it?
You got a while.
you got. Well, that's
May.
actually, I'm actually curious because we've got an episode this week as of recording, which is episode 7? 6.
No,
6. Yeah,
this one is 6.
And then we go into the 3-episode finale. I believe they're airing that all at once.
Are they?
Okay.
I
thought they said it was ended in May.
Yeah, because we have 10 episodes to go. Or not 2 go, but there's 10 episodes in total.
Let me do a quick double check on that because
because it says
sorry. Yeah, I've got that wrong. We got Life and Death part 2 coming out
today.
Essentially today.
And then
we've got Bright Eyes next week, and then that's 1 episode per week over the Tolerance Extension 3-part.
Yeah.
Which is May 1st, May 8th, and May 15th, respectively.
And look at the title of that. Tolerance Extinction.
Whoa,
play of words on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm actually curious about what is it? Bright Eyes as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with these last 4 episodes. Like after we get through Life and Death tonight, like that's going to be crazy.
Well, it's going to be a
and you'll be able to read the reviews of it over at theouthaven.net.
Now you got me thinking. Bright Eyes. Who could that be?
I reckon it's a Cyclops episode.
No.
That's my guess, but
we haven't had a. There's 2 things that we haven't had yet in this season, which is a Cyclops-centered episode and a Wolverine-centered episode.
We've had so many Wolverine-centered episodes. We don't need another.
Really? I'd like one. I'd like one. And to be honest, if I know it's going to be weird, like just as a one-shot episode, I want them to do Wolverine's birthday. Because there's a story that they did where Wolverine each year goes to the same bar on his birthday and gets into a fight with Sabretooth.
Yep.
And that's all it is. Every year is his birthday, and Sabretooth beats the shit out of him for his birthday. I just want that as an episode. With the way that they're doing action in this series, I want that episode. I want Wolverine versus Sabretooth again. Like, that'd be good.
All right. God, there was one more thing I wanted to say before we left this, and now I can't remember because there was just so much good stuff talking about this episode. Jeez, I guess we'll just go on. I'll remember it later, and I go, well.
Well, we've done like nearly an hour and 15 minutes of gushing over two TV shows on a gaming podcast.
That's what it's all about. It's what it's all about. Unfortunately, darn, what was it? I guess it doesn't matter. Just go watch X-Men 97. Just go do it. Do yourself a favor. Just go watch it.
Yeah.
And call it a day.
Yeah.
God. All right. Looks like we're not going to get through all our topics. So let's just talk about the 2 then. Ubisoft has been on a shitter these last few weeks. First, they roll back to December last year. They told people they were taking the servers for the crew offline because of infrastructure and costs and yada, yada, yada. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, online games, we get it. But as of the last week or so, it was noticed that they were going into people's accounts, Ubisoft Connect accounts, and removing access to the crew completely, like removing it from your account, as in you could no longer install the game,
revoking your entire license. And then if you tried to update it, it would just remove it.
Which is weird because aren't they meant to be releasing like an addition to that in like a month or so?
No, they've got 3. They've got the crew.
There's more of the crew games. This is just the OG.
The crew, was it mode or something? Yeah, there's a bunch of crew games.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I thought it was just the one. I never paid attention to anything.
so following that, they decided that they were Motorfest. I think that was the Motorfest was the most recent one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So following that, they started being dumber, whatever. They started messing up with Star Wars, the upcoming Star Wars Outlaws game.
Before that, didn't their CEO say something about people
not
need
owning
to
your
get
game?
used to not owning your games?
Yeah.
That was before.
Like that in itself is
not a good mindset.
It's not a good mindset, but it brings up that debate that we've had time and time again of digital versus physical. Like, again, people think, oh yeah, I bought something digitally, it's mine, I'll be able to play it as much as I want, however I want. Well, obviously this has proved that that's no longer the case.
I see the problem I had with that is
did the people who bought the crew, did they get refunds when they
No. Well,
there you go.
Some went back and got refunds. Some went back and got refunds.
Yeah, there's a story of one person who literally who bought it like at the release and then got a refund after they announced that it was disabling its services.
See,
which is what they should do. They should offer that. If they're going to remove full access to the game or take the servers offline, you should get some sort of refund for your purchase.
And that's what I was getting at. So
or an exchange at least.
We've got. That's what I said in my article. We're talking about this. We've got some detractors that are really screwing up online or digital people. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't imagine that Valve would do that. It'd be like, you know what, we're going to credit or something. But Ubisoft, they're always messing up. They're literally always messing up something because they just don't care. And the problem is,
could you imagine if Sony turned around and said, "Hey, we're taking God of War off the PlayStation Store and removing everybody's access"? It'd be a friggin' riot in the streets.
Well, you know what's pissing me off? So here, I noticed this happen because I had logged into my account to download the Division because I know there's an update coming. I was like, let me try and see if it got any better. And when I logged into my account, I was like, huh? Why is this grayed out saying that I don't have access to this game anymore? I was like, what are you talking about? And then I started going online, looking on Reddit and stuff, and people were complaining, hey, my game's gone. So I did what anybody would do and did some investigative journalism and figured out what's going on, wrote a story, and it was like, IGN didn't cover it. Kotaku didn't cover it.
It's kind of surprising how many places I didn't see covering the crew at the time. Especially because, in order to see anything, you had to, go to Reddit.
Yeah. That's mostly because it's an older game, and let's face it, places like your IGNs, your GameSpots, your freaking Kotakus, they only care about what's current.
But then I wrote the article, and then all of a sudden it starts popping up every freaking where.
Yeah, it's funny how that happens. When a couple of independent sites all of a sudden turn around and start pointing out something that should be blatantly obvious to them, suddenly they know everything about it. Or maybe they're just waiting for people to put it out there so they can copy past our stuff.
So that also happened with Star Wars. So, it was found out that Star Wars Outlaws, standard gold and ultimate.
Yeah,
ultimate and gold only give you access to a optional. They're calling it now optional mission. Jabba's Gambit.
Now it's optional.
It's optional. So if you wanted that mission, you had to pay an extra $30 or plus to get access to it. Some people are reporting incorrectly and saying it's season pass. No, guys. If you don't pay more than standard, you don't get it. So even if I don't buy the season pass and I just bought ultimate, I don't get it. If I buy gold, I get it. So it's season pass, ultimate, or gold. Not everybody wants to buy season pass.
Or Ubisoft Plus.
No, we don't want that.
Nobody wants that.
Some people are actually saying buy Ubisoft Plus for a month to get the mission and then cancel.
If that's what you want to do, then do it. Yeah, I agree with that. But also you got to remember, I believe Ubisoft Plus is rolled in with PlayStation Plus. One of the
no, that was
Ubisoft Classics is on PlayStation Plus. Yeah. Ubisoft Plus is not on either one.
No.
By themselves.
They know how to get you. They know how to get you. But the thing with this is, we're back at this crap where you're giving people access to a game and taking out certain content and making people pay more for it if they want it, which is BS.
And a lot of that comes from the mindset of the management of these companies,
exactly,
which have started coming out and just blatantly, I'm surprised, telling the goddamn truth and saying we only care about putting out content in order to raise our profits to make shareholders happy. We don't care about gamers. You guys are just walking wallets.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, and then people don't pay attention to it. People are like, "Well, we'll hit them with our wallets and not buy their games." But how many people are not going to buy their games versus how many people are actually going to buy their game? It always happens that the people who don't care.
The amount of people who'll turn around and go, I'm not going to support these practices and I'm not going to buy it. They're like 1 in 10 million because those 10 million go, Star Wars, it's good.
Lightsaber go vroom.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'm a fan of Star Wars and I was looking forward to playing this game. I've been talking about it for months and it's like, unless you guys send us a review copy, and even then, I don't know if I want to play this. I'm not buying it now. No, I don't go fine with this. This is garbage.
I've started doing that with a lot of games. Like outside of review copies, if I see something that has a mass amount of microtransaction, has a very predatory game tier structure, like the standard gold ultimate crap.
Yeah,
I won't touch it now. I won't bother spending my money on it. I'm not going to buy it. I'm sorry. I'll wait for it to come out on like maybe Game Pass or something. You know, it'll eventually come out on something where
it's just frustrating.
where it's thrown in with something cheap, because these games, a lot of them now, and people have been waking up to this, and I actually applaud the gaming community now for waking up to this bullshit and not supporting it as heavily as they used to, because you'll see these games go from being a full price. I believe even Outlaws isn't even like, it's above retail. Isn't it like $80 for the standard for this one? I think it was $80 for the standard instead of
it's
the
70.
standard
70 for standard, 100. Wait, let me just go. It's 70 for the standard game. It's 110, is it? Wow, my brain's broken. Let me go back to my article.
I know it's 130 for the
ultimate. Yeah. Regardless,
But
it's $100. It's $100.
Yeah.
There we go.
But the thing is, like, those games will go from like 70. They go from $70 to start with
to 110. So $40.
Yeah,
it's
but
ridiculous.
The thing is, like, you'll find the $70 edition. That'll be $20 in Walmart within 6 months.
Oh yeah, it definitely will.
Like hell, look at our favorite punching bag, Suicide Squad.
Oh,
that went from being a full price $70 game. I think I saw somebody showed me a photo of it being on sale for like $25-$30 the other day.
Oh, dang. I can only
it got hit with the discount stick quickly. That's what happens when games aren't going to sell, because people are actually saying, "Hey, look, we're not buying this shit anymore." Those games will become discounted extremely quickly, and that's a good. And when it gets discounted and it gets dropped down to like the $5 bin at Walmart, then I'll pick it up.
Maybe on the clearance.
Yeah. I'll wait till it hits clearance, and then I might give it a go, because at that point, well, they ain't making money off me.
No,
they're doing it on a loss.
Yeah, Ubisoft just keeps taking those L's, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens. It kind of feels like the game's going to flop before it even comes out, and that's a damn shame. Especially because, again, I was looking for this kind of game.
There's multiple reasons why that game's going to flop, and the pricing structure is just one of many.
Yeah.
I mean, it could even be a good game and still probably flop from all these dumb business decisions.
That's what we need to happen more, is that in order for these companies to wake up and listen to say, hey, make good games and we'll buy good games. Stop trying to treat us like walking wallets. Stop predatory microtransactions and tier systems and shit like that. Yeah, if you're gonna do something like a tier system, go back to the good old days. Do the Game of the Year edition once you have all your content out.
Yes,
don't give me 3 different tier of buying options on day one, because all you're showing is how greedy you are as a company, and that you don't care about the game. You care about the money. Well, you're going to miss my money when I don't buy your game.
Speaking of money, have you ever thought about tipping gaming companies if you enjoyed their games, or I'm sorry, after you've beaten their games? I mean, because I never have, especially in the days of $70, $80, $90, $110, $130 games. If I'm giving you $70, I've given you more than enough. But yet, apparently, the former Xbox, former Blizzard, former Xbox, former I'm out of here, Mike Yaba decided that he was going to put a bad take out and say, you know what? You ever thought about tipping these companies after beating the game? To which the entire internet was like, no, we've never done that. We've
Can you
never
imagine if we did have that and how screwed that would actually be for developers? We already have that in like restaurants, and they already use that as an excuse to underpay their staff. This would just be another excuse for them to underpay their staff some more, which developers already are probably underpaid when you compare it to the publishers and the in-middle management and all the other sides of the companies. So this will just be another way for them to constantly make them have less money in their wallets. We want developers to be the ones to get the money because they're usually the most creative of the bunch.
So I did a video because I was kind of really pissed off about that topic. So you definitely check it out. But basically, Scott summed it up. And the problem is, I mentioned in my video, I've never thought about giving a company money, a tip, because I know 100% if I give money to like Square Enix or anybody, say, you know what, I love this game, here's another $10. That money's not going to go to the developers.
No.
It's not going to go to the developers. And at the same time, we've got these companies that are treating these developers like they're slave labor. They pay them next to nothing. They fire them after the game is over. They lay them off for no reason at all, even though they're making record profits. And then they bring in more people with less money. All again to satisfy the stakeholders, the investors. The people won't get the money. Now, I did mention that I do think it is a good idea for any developers. Yeah, I'll tip you in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Always support your indie devs. A lot of them get by because of stuff like that. Like how many indie developers have used platforms like Kickstarter to fund their games? How many of them are out there that have a Patreon or a Ko-fi or whatever, whatever tipping platforms are available to try and get people to give a little bit for their games. Indie development isn't just a passion. People are trying to break into the industry, and sometimes that's how they get paid is through tips. I'm happy to do that for the indie devs.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Happy to do that. I'd even be happy to do that with AAA if I knew that the costs were going, the money was going to the developers, which we all know it's not. We all know it would go into the back pocket of the COO or the stockholders or upper management or
those
whatever.
Damn C-suites, man. It's those damn C-suites. We bitched about them for the last year. It's going to them.
Yeah, but and yet they go, oh, our development costs have gone up and everything. If your development costs have gone up that much, you would have raised game prices already. Oh, wait, no, you don't raise the game prices in the US because you don't want to piss off the US market, but you'll raise it everywhere fucking else.
Oh, they're raising it here too, buddy. Trust me, it's getting there.
Keith,
dude, I know.
How much did you spend on that game?
What game?
The Dead Souls.
I don't know. I didn't buy it.
Yeah, you did.
Dead Cells?
Souls.
Dark Souls?
It was the one that was on PS3 that they remade for PS5.
Oh, Demon Souls.
Demon Souls. There we go. That one.
$80?
125 Australian. Yes, I know. That's what I mean. 125 Australian dollars you see spent on that game.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and that is retail for games. Like you want to talk about like the Ubisoft situation. The cheapest I've seen that is $100 here for the standard edition. The gold edition's $150. The ultimate edition was somewhere between $185 and $200. They won't touch game prices in the US. They're doing it slowly, like at like a snail's pace compared to the rest of the world. I'm sure if we had Jordan on here, one of our compatriots here at the Outer Haven, he would tell you how UK prices have shot up over the last couple of years.
Yeah, Jordan, how come you're not here, man?
well, that's because it's probably like 5 a.m. for him right now. But the two markets that have the slowest growing game prices in the world. The US and Japan. They are the two, because they are the two biggest markets when it comes to gaming. So the companies will raise the price everywhere fucking else, but they're very hesitant to even increase the US prices by $10. Your games should be a minimum of $100 right now if the budgets and the problems with those budgets are what they are. but they won't do that because they'll piss off the American market. You'll go fuck no, and they won't have any type of recourse if you don't actually buy it.
Oh yeah, that'll be in a heartbeat. No, we're not. Well, not everybody. There'll be the idiots that are still. Oh, here you go. Here you go. Take my mom and daddy's credit card. I don't have a problem paying this money.
Yeah, I don't mind paying $100 for 4 costumes in Street Fighter 6.
No.
So yes, going back to that. No, I've never thought about tipping a gaming company ever. I will support them by buying.
We have, yes, but no.
I will support a company by buying multiple copies of the game. I have bought multiple copies. Elden Ring, Dark Souls, playing all the games. I bought 1 or 2 copies, or I buy another copy and give it to somebody. Here you go. I'll support you that way.
Yeah, your support for the company begins and ends when you put down that money for that game.
Yep.
Yes.
Everything after that is optional.
And of course, DLC.
DLC is optional, and if you want to see the game go and develop or whatever, then you'll buy the DLC. That's fine. Or if you're really dumb, you'll do something like buy battle passes or something like that.
No.
Which at that point you might as well be paying a monthly friggin' fee.
I mean, I'm gonna buy my battle pass for democracy.
For democracy.
I will have to do it for that. Speaking of which, I haven't played that game in a minute. I gotta get back.
No, we got to jump back in that. we got bugs to take down by.
Oh, but yeah,
and robots to take down because robot Vietnam.
Unfortunately, Mike comes from a former position of power and or management, so I don't think he's thinking the same mindset as other people.
He's one of those ones who came from being on a multi-million-dollar salary per year and doesn't understand what it's like anymore to be at that bottom rung in development, doing this for like $20,000 a year.
Yeah, that's not happening.
I mean, if he was so big on giving, his work developers more money, why didn't he do that? And when he was over Blizzard,
nah, man, because that takes away from their bottom line. You see,
or not like any of the games they're developing.
Those developers, man, they got to get by on that $10 per month Blizzard fucking World of Warcraft subscription money. Okay, they only get paid if the subscriptions go up. Okay, that's $10 per developer.
If a game sells very well and does record sales, like you keep saying, how about you give some of these developers a portion of the money?
No, because we got to give that money to our shareholders and our management and our COOs.
Oh, but you want me to tip you more money so it goes to your pockets and not the developers?
Yes.
Fuck that.
We don't need every company to work on restaurant logic in the U.S. because that's going to be terrible.
That's all right. They'll all be working on AI eventually.
Oh no.
Oh man, that was
there are companies out there that are starting to look at ways to get development software using AI to create video games, and as soon as that happens, guess what? Developers are going to start getting fired en masse and replaced with AI.
Yeah.
Dude, AI
is going to be with so many other industries.
It's going to be it's going to get to the point where the people don't want to work with AI no more, and then AI will start working on itself, and then Skynet, and then we're fucked. Good job, folks. Good job.
If that only Cable for real to come back in time.
if only places had a government either regulated shit like that, or had an idea of like maybe instituting a universal basic income, but that's another podcast for another day. I could go on about that shit for hours, but like that's a bad take once again. It's I don't know what it is like. I know that some of these companies and people are starting to actually just straight up say the dumb shit. Like they're saying the quiet part out loud.
Yes.
And some of those takes are just stupid. Like, you should get used to not owning your games. You should tip developers. We should raise the prices on games. We should do this, that, and the other, just to put more money in our pockets. It's like, no, how about you do what you're supposed to be doing, which is making a good product? Because that's, if anything has been seen with like our first hour of this podcast, if you put out something good and you put out something that gets people interested, that gets them invested, that they enjoy, and is just done for the sake and the love of the product, it'll sell. People will watch it. People will buy it. Why do you think Baldur's Gate sold so well last year? Because oh no, no. But the thing is, because the developers came out and said, we did this because we love the series. We're not here. We have stockholders, but we're not here to appease them. We're here to appease you, the gamer. You're the one that buys the product. You're the one that we want to make happy.
Yeah, they did a great job. They did a great job, and now they're gone. So,
yep.
You done fucked that up too, guys.
Yep.
Anyway, I think.
Why do you think people are turning to retro gaming now?
We had an interesting.
There's been a massive uptake in retro gaming.
My son and I had that conversation in the car like less than an hour ago. We were talking about that. It was interesting.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, there's been a massive uptake in people going back to older games, older systems, older like stories, and playing that stuff again. Why? Because back then you used to get a complete experience for the money you paid. You would get a full game. If you got anything of extra, it was a bonus. Or it meant that the game did well. And people are starting to go, you know what? Instead of paying $70, $110, $130, $150 for the latest AAA piece of crap that's going to have 6 season passes, 17 pieces of DLC, and a battle pass microtransaction system. We're going to go.
Xenoverse is getting its 17th DLC.
I wish I could afford all. Like I try to get all that stuff when it's on sale, and even on sale, it's not worth.
At $100, just the DLC.
Yeah, but it still hasn't hit DOA 5 levels yet.
No, it hasn't.
But the thing is, like, people are going back to like even older PS3, Xbox 360 games, old Xbox games, and they're just like, this is back what it used to be. You used to get a full experience, or you would get that Game of the Year edition, where it contained everything, all the extra content and everything else. And they're going, this is the gaming I want to play with. This is the gaming that I want. A full experience when I pay my money for a good product that is well developed, that sure may have more glitches because, programming languages back then and emulation, whatever they want to do. But they're going back and they're playing the older games because they're finding what is lacking in modern gaming. And frankly, I think I'm glad people are doing that. As a retro gamer myself, I loved seeing people going back and discovering the older games and having a lot of fun with them, and they're getting the full experiences that they paid for. I just wish modern gaming would just figure that out. That it's not about appeasing shareholders. It's not about appeasing management. It's meant to be about appeasing and making your customers happy. Because at the end of the day, without customers, you don't have a market. And when people come out and say, "Hey, get used to not having your games, get used to, hey, you should tip the developers or whatever," and they do these stupid takes, they're just showing how out of touch they are with the consumers then when they say shit like that, the consumer's going to get up and leave.
Yep. Hopefully. They better. I am. But I know
Cheers to that.
I know you got to bounce out here soon. So let's end the podcast on a positive note. There's a story here, real quick, 5 seconds, not 5 seconds, like 2 minutes, that I didn't put in here because I wanted to catch you off guard. He's timing. So we all know there's upcoming action adventure hack and slash game coming out in a few weeks called Star Blade. Yes. And there's also one that came out not too long ago called Nier Automata, which is one of my favorite games of all time. And the two developers had an interview thanks to IGN Japan, and they both basically gushed over each other's game, calling each other games the better. Yoko Taro was basically saying, hey, I love the fact that Star Blade looks amazing. And he has like-minded individuals that are working with them, which I felt was kind of a jab at Square Enix. And I said that.
It was. He literally within the Kim interview, Kim said, like, shouldn't you not say that about Square Enix? He's like, yeah, they don't care.
And then we got Kim saying, you know what? I love Nier Automata. I love Eve. I don't think I could have made Nier Stellar Blade without her being inspiration. And you know what? You both need to shut up. You're both amazing. You both made some fantastic games. We're going to love Stellar Blade as much as we love Nier Automata. You got some badass females in that game. I'm glad to see the representation. I love the storylines. And guess what? If you don't like it, that's your problem.
You don't.
I'm going to play
it.
You ain't got to buy it. I'll buy it. All right, I'm done.
Yeah, I'll buy it.
Yes. It was over 2 minutes, but no, whatever. I had to say what I had to say. That said, that is the end of episode 153 of Spectator Mode Podcast. Thanks for stopping by and joining us. And as always, if you listen to us on Spotify or Buzzsprout or YouTube Podcast, because Google Podcast is gone, or Apple Podcast, thanks for listening. And if you are listening to Apple Podcast, do us a big favor and leave a rating for the podcast. It helps us out immensely. And if you're watching on YouTube, comment. Let us know what you thought about this episode. We love talking to our community, and I'm pretty sure if you got something to say, we want to hear it, either bad or good. So definitely do it. Also, maybe subscribe to the channel. That way, you know when our next content comes out, and you'll be notified. And of course, share the content. It'll help us out a lot. That's it from myself, from Scott, from Carl. Thanks for checking us out, and we will see you next time. And maybe we'll talk about gaming a little more. Maybe not. Who knows? Take it easy.
For democracy.
I got to get back into that game.